Hello, moviegoers, and welcome to another edition of Have You Seen It? I'm your host, Denise, and before I get into my review, I've got to tell you who my favorite actor is. My favorite actor this week is Stockard Channing, and I chose her because of the movie The Girl Most Likely To. This movie came out in 1973. I know I was in middle school, and she was so good in this movie that I remember going back to school the next day and everybody talking about it. Well, in this movie, Stockard Channing played a college co-ed who was not very attractive, and so much so that everyone that she came in contact with just treated her poorly, just solely based on her looks, as if she were invisible. But once she made quite a transformation, she was able to get a little bit of revenge on those people who mistreated her. So that was a pretty good movie back then. So Stockard Channing is my favorite actor this week. All right, folks, my movie review this week is, drum roll please, Spider-Man Brand New Day. Wow. Let me tell you something. I am not a person who is invested in the MCU universe like a lot of other people, and maybe some of you who are watching. I know there are people who are invested in that universe, that they can tell you every movie, they remember everything that happened, every character, every villain, everything about it. I am one of those people who will go in and out of the universe. I'll see a movie and won't see another one for a few years, and that's how I roll. Well, I can tell you right now, if you're going to see this new installment and you are like me, someone who just goes in and out of the universe, you need to see No Way Home before Brand New Day. It will give you a lot of important context. If you are someone who's very familiar with the franchise, you've probably seen everything before this, and you can just go to the theater and you'll know everything that's going on. This movie had a running time of 2 hours, 30 minutes, and I was confused. Not for the entire movie, but when it started, because it picks up from the previous movie, I was confused. I'm like, what is going on? This didn't happen in the last movie I saw. So the last Spider-Man that I saw with Tom Holland was Far From Home. So I'm picking up from Far From Home, but the movie does not pick up from there. So I'm just going to throw that out there for newbies. Well, the movie begins with our main character, played by Tom Holland, and I'll run down the cast for you. Tom Holland, Zendaya, John Bernthal, Florence Pugh, Sadie Sink, Jacob Batalon, Mark Ruffalo, Tremel Tillman, Marissa Tomei, Liza Colon-Zayas, and Naomi Watts as the AI voiceover. All right, so in the last movie, we know that Doctor Strange has, there's been a spell cast at the request of Spider-Man, but that, spell kind of has a glitch in it. And when we start this movie, our main character is living in isolation as Spider-Man because the world has no memory of his existence as Peter Parker. Nobody knows who he is. And most notably, those who were closest to him, MJ and his best friend Ned. And so this isolation is all he knows. And so his main job, it's, 4 years or so later, his main job is to assist New York Police Department with catching criminals and making sure that the city is safe. All right. And so in this movie, we've got a new villain. Okay. And we have a villain who has the ability to use telepathy to create havoc. And what it does is it inhabits a person, and then another person, and then another person. So it's a multiple body hopping situation where it takes multiple people to get to one person, and it moves very quickly. So that is the villain and what the villain possesses and adds to this film. So as the movie goes on and we've got Spider-Man, doing his Spider-Man things, he is able to keep tabs on Ned and MJ because now Ned and MJ have, they are now students at MIT, and Ned is constantly on his phone or computer, and he is streaming, the events of what they're doing in college life and so forth. So Spider-Man is able to see that his friends have a new life. They've moved on, but MJ has also moved on romantically, which is not something he was expecting. But because of this isolation, he is now experiencing physical changes that are causing him a lot of stress, and he's getting headaches and not just feeling himself. And so what's happening is the trauma and the grief that he is experiencing, coupled with this isolation, is creating this hormonal situation going on. So his spidey senses are all out of whack, and his hormones are out of whack. So what he does is he enlists the aid of Bruce Banner, who is our Incredible Hulk, played by Mark Ruffalo, and he asks him, hey, kind of asking for a friend sort of thing. How do you keep that Hulk under control? How do you maintain a life as a professor at a college and not have this, Hulk emerge the way that he has previously? And so he talks about an inhibitor chip. All right. An inhibitor chip kind of balances everything that's going on, and it will allow Spider-Man to manage all of what he's experiencing, because what he is experiencing is out of this world. You're going to get a stronger, more powerful Spider-Man. His spidey senses are going to be even more, they're going to be increased to a higher level that he's never experienced. His webbing is going to be now organic. So he's going through a lot of changes. And so as the movie progresses, there is a criminal, I guess, Scorpion. He appears. Okay, so Scorpion is being held, at the Department of Damage Control. But of course, the new villain has telepathically gotten into the mind of a person who is now going to break him out of this facility and free him, so to speak. So when this happens, when this new villain is able to do these things, it happens very quickly. And then once all the chaos and confusion have been settled, then the perpetrators are now reverted back to themselves. So without giving away a lot of spoilers about who this person is, I can tell you that the new villain is a female, and she's got a history that the department chair or the overseer, supervisor of the Department of Damage Control is not being very, very forthright in his knowledge of who this villain is. So here we go. We have Spider-Man looking for a villain, trying to do the right thing, trying to deal with these special powers, emotionally distraught because of his interaction with MJ and Ned, because he realizes that they really don't know who I am. And although this is what he wanted, it's an emotional realization for him at the same time. So that is the movie. We're looking for this new villain who's got some really, really special powers. And I'm not going to tell you the reason behind these special powers. You got to go see the movie for that. But I can tell you it was fun when I was focused, and instead of focusing on my confusion, I was able to stick with the story till the end. And I tell you, it was fun to watch, exhilarating. And you know, the more Spider-Man did his thing, swinging from building to building and jumping and all of the acrobats that he performed, you know, your adrenaline is going to rise just as his did in this movie. So a good film to watch. And I will tell you this, after seeing Brand New Day, I did go home and watch the previous movie. And so I had so many aha moments and was really able to understand what I had just seen the day before. So that is my review. I think you are going to like this movie a lot. Okay, so there you go. All right, so I'm going to jump into my Nailed It for this week. And my Nailed It for this week is, another drum roll, please. The visual effects, the makeup, the cinematography, the action sequence, all of the stunts in this movie, Spider-Man Brand New Day, were absolutely incredible. When you see this movie and you see the Hulk emerge, man, this is the best version of the Hulk I have seen in an MCU movie. I mean, incredible. So I need you guys to go see this movie, like right now. All right, folks, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And remember, I am available on BlueSky at HYSI. All right, moviegoers, you know what to do. Until next week, I need you to see a movie because I'm going to see a movie. Until next week, bye-bye.